Welcome back to JPTV, where this week we are covering stories from the new trainer Brian Anderson to the crisis in Afghanistan and Jackson Prep Sports. I'm Jake Vineyard.
And I'm Dylan Burkhalter.
Everyone has been anticipating the new Kanye album, Donda. Anders Morgan and Sela Ferguson wanted to know what some of the students and faculty thought of the new album.
Okay, we're here with Mr. Devine, and we're going to see what his thoughts are on Donda.
So the album is bad. It's bad for a number of reasons. So Kanye West is crazy, and that wouldn't be bad if, say, Prince was crazy. Plenty of musicians are crazy. As long as they're more inventive in their musical styles as they're crazy, nobody cares. Kanye went crazy, and his music went into the gutter, so it's bad. There are things like the opening of the album where he says Donda 59 times. I don't care. I don't care about his life. I've seen enough on the Kardashians. I just want good music. And compared to early Kanye music, if you like Kanye, it's not as good. So it's bad. The new Halsey album is better. The re-release of Red will be better than Donda.
First one is, what are your thoughts on Kanye's new album, Donda?
Well, first off, Donda, it sucks. It's not very good. I started off with the Donda chant, and I just heard Donda over and over, and it just wasn't good. There's nothing good on the thing, nothing good on the whole album except for Jail and Moon. That's it. It's just it all sucks. It's not very good. I was let down.
So those are your only two favorite songs on the album?
Yeah, everything else sucks. It's just how it is. None of it was good.
Do you listen to it anymore, at all?
No, I listen to country music only, so that's it. But I had to listen to it because everybody's like, you got to listen to it. And then I listened to that one time, and I was like, that's it. It's not good. Not good enough to waste my time on.
Thank you for your time.
You're welcome.
Hey, we're with Paige Case, a senior, and we're asking her what her thoughts on Donda are.
I liked it most of the time. I gave it a 7 out of 10 because Donda chant was really weird, but I liked New Again and Jonah.
So today we are here with Hattie McLeod. What are your thoughts on Kanye's new album, Donda?
There are two good songs on the album, Jail and Jonah. Other than that, I think it is a subpar album. That's it.
Anything else to say about it?
No, it's not very good. Oh, Certified Lover Boy is a way better album. All right.
Thank you for your time.
Kanye won't be winning Album of the Year with some of these opinions. Next up, Parker Griffiths talks with the new athletic trainer, Brian Anderson.
What was your previous job before prep?
Before I came here to Jackson, I was the athletic trainer in Greenwood, Mississippi. Ran the outreach program for Greenwood Hospital, and I pretty much covered all the area high schools. My primary school was Pillow Academy. That's where I spent most of my time.
How's prep treated you so far?
It's been awesome. I've been very impressed by the quality of students that we've had here at prep. Prep is loaded with a lot of high-achieving students, and it's really showed in the way they carry themselves on the field and off the field.
What has been your most interesting experience as a trainer?
I've had the ability to do a lot of different things as an athletic trainer. I've worked with everybody from Division I colleges to NFL to Olympic Training Center up in Lake Placid, New York. So I've had a lot of crazy experiences. The one in Lake Placid, New York is probably up there just because being from Mississippi, it ain't very often that you get to go and spend that much time living in a mountain town, essentially, in negative 32-degree weather. So that was pretty interesting. A lot of different sports, working with bobsled and skeleton and luge, a lot of different things that we don't really have here in Mississippi a lot.
Who's been your favorite player that you've treated?
Oh, that's an easy one. That's my son. I always tell everybody my favorite athlete to watch is my son. He's a 7th grade. He still goes to Pillow Academy, but he is definitely my favorite athlete to watch, and also the favorite athlete that I've ever treated.
Do you have a fun fact about yourself you want the people to know?
I do. I don't have an ability to smell. I have no sense of smell. So being an athletic trainer, taping y'all's nasty feet all the time, that comes in handy because I can't smell it. So that works out.
And finally, do you have any advice to help the athletes stay safe out there while playing?
Yeah, you want to make sure you're always conditioned and ready to perform in whatever sport you're participating in. And hydration is a major key, especially here in Mississippi this time of year. Hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. You can never drink too much water. You need to make sure you're kind of mixing in your electrolytes and your water. Don't wait to the day of competition to start drinking the water. You want to start hydrating 3 days ahead of time and hydrate all the way through.
All right. You can go.
More news has come out of Afghanistan as the U.S. troops have pulled out, leaving hundreds of American citizens stranded with the Taliban moving in. Margie Fry and Ryan Grovey interviewed retired U.S. Army Colonel William Merrill and Jackson Prep history teacher Lane Hughes to get their take on the situation happening in Afghanistan.
If you're the president, what would you have done differently than President Biden?
First thing, I would realize that I'm not the smartest person in the room. I would have approached it with humility. I would have asked my more experienced people, my generals, my secretaries, the State Department. I would have gotten input from them because as a leader, you've got to get input. And then, you know, the roses pinned on you to make the decision. But if you don't ask the right questions or get the right information, you can't make a good decision. That's what we owe our followers. We owe them, hey, I'm going to get the best information and I'm going to make the best decision for everybody and not let my pride or my jaded experiences affect that decision. So in leadership, we've got to listen and we've got to then decide. And then once we do make that decision, we've got to own it. Hey, I made this decision. It was bad. You know, I made a mistake. It's on me. Or if it was good, hey, my team did a great job. You know, even though it was your decision as leader, you still give praise to everybody on your team. So as a president, if I was president, I would have listened more to people. And there's one thing that you never have enough of, and it's time.
What is the historical significance of the Afghanistan withdrawal, and is it similar to any other events in American history?
Well, probably the thing that comes to mind for a lot of people is the end of the Vietnam War. Before Afghanistan, that was our longest war. And like in Afghanistan, it was a war where at the end, we were sort of done with it and we didn't really keep all of the objectives that we've been fighting for in place, which means there are a lot of mixed feelings about it. People question, you know, what was this 20-year war for if the Taliban are going to be in charge after our withdrawal? And it's similar to how in the Vietnam War, we were fighting to keep South Vietnam from going communist, and at the end of the day, it ended up being taken over by North Vietnam and going communist. That comparison glosses over a lot of differences between the two. But for those of us who were, you know, already adults, and I was already teaching when 9/11 happened and the subsequent invasion of Afghanistan, it's been distressing to see it end this way. And I just hope that things, you know, don't go as badly as people fear they might go.
We can only hope this situation doesn't get any worse. We'll be right back.
Jackson Prep. It's a place for artists, a place for scholars,
a place for athletes,
an all-around amazing place
to be who you are and all that you aspire to be.
Discover your Jackson Prep possibilities.
Join us for a tour.
Now into the Jackson Prep world of sports. To begin, let's take a look at last week's game of the week. On Thursday night, the varsity girls soccer team faced crosstown rival Jackson Academy at home. The Patriots fell behind early in the first half but continued to fight. However, they were never able to make up the deficit and fell 3-1. The team had an opportunity to redeem themselves on Tuesday with a quick trip down Lakeland to play Hartfield Academy. In this conference matchup, the Patriots reigned victorious, defeating the Hawks 2-1. After these games, the Patriots record moves to 5-2 on the year. The girls look to continue this winning trend as they play MRA at home this Thursday and in the Rivals Tournament in Collierville, Tennessee on Saturday and Sunday. In football news, two programs who are both regarded as football powerhouses in the state of Mississippi faced off. Though the two high school teams played in 2013 and 2014, their junior high programs have never faced one another. This changed last Thursday evening when Oxford Middle, a 6A public school, traveled down I-55 to compete against Jackson Prep, a 6A private school. The Patriots are missing star receiver Connor Griffin due to him being selected to play for Team USA in North Carolina, but this setback didn't slow them down a bit. They rolled into halftime with a 21-13 lead. In the second half, Oxford would come surging back, eventually taking the lead in the game's final seconds. Oxford would go on to win 29-28. Your junior high team looks to bounce back this week on the road at Lamar School this Thursday. After a disappointing 0-2 start, the varsity team finally got the ball rolling, getting their first win against Greenville St. Joe. This was a big win for the Patriots, especially with it being head coach Tyler Turner's first win coaching the Jackson Prep High School team. The offense relied heavily on the run game last Friday. Senior Sam McMullen rushed for over 100 yards. Junior Owen Ishii had 3 touchdowns on the ground, and sophomore Lake Wanmack added another. The defense, who had a rough start to the season, finally found their groove. They allowed only 8 total yards, had 4 takeaways, and posted a shutout for the first time this season. This week will be an important one for the Patriots as they take on Lamar School at home Friday for the homecoming game. Last but not least, let's take a peek into how the volleyball team is playing. Last Thursday, all 3 teams played Simpson Academy away. The middle school team suffered a loss, but was able to win their first set of the year. Both the JV and high school teams dominated in their performance, neither losing a single set. In this week's matchup, the team was back at home to face Lamar School. The middle school team struggled to get things going and would go on to lose 0-2. However, once again, the JV and high school teams managed to sweep their opponents. JV with a score of 2-0 and high school with a score of 3-0. The Lady Patriots have an important game this week as they are set to have conference games against MRA this Thursday.
Here at Jackson Prep, we strive for excellence and greatness. We take pride in our athletes, our program's histories, our facilities, our state championships, and our all sports awards. The Booster Club allows our athletes great benefits. With the Booster Club, we are able to remodel facilities such as the new locker room under the stand or the new women's weight room. We would like you to join the Booster Club today at jacksonprep.org.
Have you ever wondered where Prep Patriots get their gear? Well, we have the solution, the Prep Patriot Shop. There are many options ranging from t-shirts, sweatshirts, socks, and even fun accessories. They also have hand sanitizer and face masks to keep everyone safe from COVID. The Prep Patriot Shop, open Tuesdays and Thursdays from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. and on Fridays at 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. and at home football game nights at 5:30 to 7. Hope to see you soon, and go Prep.
Senior lunch has always been a staple of the final year at Jackson Prep. It's been a way to reward seniors for all the work they've put in prior and give them some freedom as they prepare to go off to college. However, after previous year's schedule was changed, students no longer feel rewarded. Last year, seniors were given an hour to go and eat lunch, but now the class of seniors has a mere 43 minutes to get where they need to go, order their food, eat it, and get back before their time expires. Seniors Cameron Moore and Jake Vineyard decided to go and ask their peers about how they felt about senior lunch.
I think senior lunch needs to be a little longer because you get like 45 minutes to go somewhere, and it's like just got to be Subway or OEC, and those are the only 2 options you have time for. And everywhere else is just like too far, and you're gonna be late for lunch. So I just think it should be longer. It's just way too short.
I think it's way too short compared to last year, and you don't have time to like go to a restaurant. We barely had time to go to Chick-fil-A the first time, and it's just too short. It needs to be longer.
You know, I just think that if I want to go anywhere within further than about a mile away, I'm not going to have time to really go. So I think that if they could just extend it about 15 minutes or so, we would have a lot more freedom and a lot more choices where we could go. And I just think it would benefit everybody a lot more.
You know, I think senior lunch is great, and I enjoy going to eat, but I also think that we need more time so we have, more options and more restaurants that are farther away, so I don't have to go to the same restaurant that's, right by Prep every week.
Okay, so my thoughts on senior lunch. I think that like with the long activity period and then the long lunch, it doesn't really add up, and it's just hard for like everybody to rush out of prep, pick up food. Like you don't even have time to sit down anywhere, and then the places you do get, like you've got to eat it in 10 minutes. So I think if some way we could maybe shorten a little bit of a break or something like that to at least give us like 15 more minutes, I think it'd really be helpful.
Last year, senior Jeffrey Jordan was tired of sitting around outside waiting for the next class to begin. So he decided to bring his Frisbee to school. Soon, the ultimate movement began at prep, and pretty soon people were spending their lunch periods on the football field scrimmaging each other. Eventually, Jordan decided that instead of just constantly playing each other, prep should play other schools. Madison Central and MRA were the two he chose to play, and after some rocky games, the newly formed Ultimate Frisbee team was ready to not only become an official club, but to have their very first real game. And on Wednesday of last week, Jackson Prep's Ultimate team beat Jackson Academy's 12-5 in Jackson Prep's inaugural game. Jordan was not only thrilled with the performance, but most importantly, the fact that his way to escape boredom had turned into something as spectacular.
Thank you for watching this week's edition of JPTV. We'll see you next week.